Um, Worked all night and then did a little warm up this morning after I did some reading. And now what I want to do is I'm going to practice forehand. I have a couple stands that I made and I can put them on the edge of the couch. And all I have is they're actually at the bottom of a desk chair. I took it apart and then I used the spring mechanism that goes up and down, and then I put a spring on top. And that has a perfect, it fits perfectly right over the edge of the couch. And this way I can practice. And I'm thinking about, right now I'm thinking about 45-degree angle forehand cross court. I'm thinking about, when you hit this way, you're going cross court. When you hit straight, when you hit straight, you're going down the line. And so I had these perfectly on the couch so I can practice my forehands. I'm practicing both right-handed and left-handed. I'm using a couple old rackets. One's a Wilson and one's a Bancroft. One's a board racket, the other one's a Wilson with a Bancroft cover on. I like to use covers because it adds a little weight to it, okay? And that way when I go to hit, I'm gonna accelerate natural. When we played earlier, when I was younger, we were so stiff and the rackets were so heavy, and now the rackets are so light and accelerate and the equipment's so different. And so, but I still like to practice with my old rackets. I got a few hundred of these rackets, different types of rackets. Also trying to, testing out a new racket. It's a Diadem, and if you haven't tried it, it's a very nice racket. I like it. I got a few of them here sitting here that I'm going to work with, and that way if I'm playing with somebody and they want to borrow one, and then some of the young people on the team have them too. And so it's a nice racket, very nice racket. And so here I'm practicing with old racket, old school, okay, old school rackets, Bancroft covers. Now I'm going 45-degree angle, I'm going, cross court. And you think about your grip, it's an octagon, okay, has 8 sides. If you go all around, it's 360. So every time you turn, 1/8, that's going to be 45 degrees. And so 360, half of 360 is 180. That's your radius. Okay. So I'm going to get my hand. I'm trying. I try to get my palm behind the racket. So goes the palm. So goes my racket. And so I like that phrase that Steve Smith. I think Steve Smith said, or probably others too. And so I like to work in. Now I can work in backhand if I want. I can practice my backhand here. And so I'm going up. Okay. And so I like to practice both sides of my body, both right-handed. Now I know I'm facing, open stance. I know I'm facing like a hockey player or a soccer goalie. My belly's sitting, facing you. And then when I move, I want to move, not so much straight, but maybe a 45-degree angle. At an angle when I move to cut off the ball. And so here I'm just practicing getting strength and working on exterior muscles. A lot of young people don't have exterior muscles. How are you going to develop it? I mean, maybe you could develop by rolling, maybe, I'm not sure if you're rolling a boat, maybe paddles that would strengthen your exterior muscles. I have to look that one up. Always trying to find tennis analogies, tennis ideas that can make it easier for people. Maybe go roll a boat. That would help you to strengthen your arms, okay? That would be really, really kind of good to do. And so now I'm going forehand. I'm going to go cross court, 45-degree angle. So I'm going, my body's going to turn a little bit, okay? Okay, there we go. It's amazing that you just got to build up strength. And as you hit, you got upward motion. You're lifting with your legs. A lot of people aren't using their legs. I don't know how to use their legs. So a lot of things that tennis players, you need to be able to be quick on your feet. You can't stand flat-footed. Even people that are flat-footed, they say, you can put a board 2x4 behind their feet, and you can help them get on their toes a little bit more, which would be good for them. And so here, I'm just practicing with the device that I made. It's a great way of practicing. If you need some advice about how to make a tennis stand, just give me a call, 414-484-4061. 414-484-4061. Be creative. I mean, you can make an easy tennis stand. It's a great way of practicing. Whatever you do at home, be safe so you don't break something. In the living room, your wife will go crazy at you, or your mom. And so here I'm practicing. I'm not hitting full speed, but I am, getting a good practice, okay? I am strengthening my exterior muscles, my interior muscles, your arm, and so it's a great way of practicing. And so here we go. It's a great, just fun. I like to do this in the morning, okay? Okay, remember when you're hitting the forehand, it's a C motion, okay? When you're volleying, it's more linear, okay? When you're serving, it's more, it's a different shape. It's like an 8. I like to get people doing all kinds of exercises, but they're not always in agreement with me, or cooperative, let's say. But if they were, they're going to improve. You got to find different ways to practice. And so look for analogies with different sports. It's good to play different sports because that's going to help your tennis. Tennis is a very skilled sport. It seems like people can catch on pickleball, they can catch on a lot of other sports, but when it comes to tennis, you have to be an all-around player. You just can't be a player that stays at the baseline. You got to learn how to hit the ball in the middle of the court. You got to hit the ball at the net. You got to be an all-around player, and so it's important. Otherwise, you limit yourself. And so, when you're playing tennis, it's a very skilled sport. Okay, it takes time to practice. So I'd encourage you to practice. Start off soft before hard. Start up close to the net before you go far, okay? And so start short with your short racket so it resembles your hand. So you got a progression. You start Dennis Vandermeer, who's my coach when I was younger, he would always use progressions. And so it's a great way. Start off with your hand, then a short racket, then go to the middle racket, and then all the way down to the handle, okay? And Vic Braden was also another one. Just incredible knowledge of these guys that were they were excellent teachers, okay? And so here, practicing, okay? Both forehand and backhand. And so it's a great way of practicing. And so I'm using 2 stands that I made. And they're from a desk chair, and I put a spring on it, and a ball, and an excellent practice device. I practice for home. Just be safe, okay? You get a rainy day, you can do this, or it's early morning, and you have a way of practicing. Tennis players find a way to practice, whether it's a backboard, a practice stand, okay? Back to the basics. Learn how to have balance. A lot of young kids don't have balance, okay? And their arms, they sit down instead of lifting. Okay, a lot of times when they hit their backhand, instead of lifting, they're sitting down, or they're stopping here instead of letting that racket flow through. So I encourage you to learn how to practice and learn how to practice right. You have to have technique. Technique's not always going to win the game, but technique's going to make you a better player. Okay, and as you practice, you're going to get better. You're going to win. Beautiful tennis leads to winning tennis. So it's something you want to practice. And so if you're playing baseball, they take you to a tee and you're going to practice hitting, and they want you to have good balance, okay? They want you using your hips. They want you pivoting. They want you to use your legs, okay? Not just your wrist, okay? And as you develop your stroke, you can practice spinning a little bit more with your wrist, okay? But a lot of times people go and cross their body, and they're going to bring the ball down instead of getting the idea of lifting the ball, getting it deep. Even when you go to slice, you want the ball to go deep, okay? If you hit a drop shot, you want to bring them shorter, that's different, okay? But most of the time you need to hit deep. And when you have a pusher, it seems like everybody's hitting to the pusher's forehand. Hit wide, okay? Then hit to his backhand, very important. Okay, if you're going to play somebody just gets the ball back, and they're good. They get the racket right out in front. They meet the ball, and they just push it back. You're swinging, you're going to make a big error because your swing's too big. And so shorten that swing a little bit, and be able to be a pusher. You got to be able to be a pusher. You can't be the first one to hit the ball out. A pusher will have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 balls in a row until you miss, and then he'll rejoice in that he won the point, and you're all frustrated. So don't get frustrated. Hit as many as you have to. Learn how to practice your ground strokes and get better.